watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a virtual Rockingham, North Carolina for the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series, which that is more of a tongue twister than I remembered. Tonight on Ghostfire Media, we're going to have 125 laps around what turns out to be a long intermediate for the street stocks. But with me tonight, he was off last week, but he's going to be with me most weeks going forward, Mr. Adam Wood.
How's it going, everybody? I'm enjoying tonight. I love Rockingham Speedway to call the action. I do not like be out there being a driver here. This track's too bumpy for me, but these street stocks are going to have a hard time trying to keep it. As you see the 04 car right there, take a spin. These drivers are going to have to be careful all night long. This track's bumpy, and it really sends these cars around.
Well, and that's one of the biggest things that we are going to need to watch this evening is the street stocks are not as powerful as what you would see from your standard stock car. So this 1 mile track turns into one of the longer intermediates. So it's going to run very similar to an Atlanta with the amount of banking that this track has in these cars.
Yeah, it's going to have some fun, though. These guys are going to be able to run around this track too wide. I don't want to venture that anybody's going to try and push it anything more than that. Turns 3 and 4, you're going to be able to actually run the bottom or the high line. Turns 1 and 2, you're going to have a little bit different of a groove that you're going to have to try to take to try and get around there, as we've seen that around most people tonight.
And as we've got ourselves 1 minute left before we hit qualifying, let's just remind everyone of the format that we're going to have tonight. So we will start with a 5-minute qualifying session. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to run 2 laps. The top 26 will automatically go on to our feature race for the night. And then everybody that's left over is going to have an opportunity to fight for those last 4 spots in our feature race. It's going to be 15 laps, pure shootout. And once we have that field set, we are actually going to be inverting the top 6 tonight. So our number 1 will become number 6, and number 6 will become our pole sitter. So it's going to make things a little bit on the confusing side, but at the same time, it's going to make for some fantastic racing because our fastest person is going to have a few spots that they're going to have to work through.
Yeah, these guys are going to have little bit of a tough time, but I think that, we're going to see really great action. And I like the fact that, they limited to the top 26. So you have to put your best foot forward. Other leagues we broadcast for, some people try to, they don't want to be too competitive. They want to start at the back, kind of learn the track, learn everybody else's driving skills before they kind of start pushing their way through the main race. But these guys, they have to be on it from the qualifying on, or they have to try to race their way in. So you don't want to be on that opposite end of having to race your way into it.
And we're going to see, obviously, a few people making their way out to get their laps in as soon as possible. And the first person out on track is Robbie Clavey. And right now, don't really have too much that I can honestly say, because only one race into the league, so I don't really know who the characters are. The only person I know who is out there is potentially our anti-hero here, is Dante Curtis, who was the car to beat on last week. Didn't quite win, but he did have a strong showing. So we'll go ahead and watch him as he's making his way through to cross the finish line.
Yeah, I'm over here looking, being the stats guy, I'm looking over here at Dante Curtis's stats. I mean, he's from Murphy, North Carolina. He's got 51 starts here with 14 wins. He's got 27% of his starts he's won. So, I mean, he is one of the men to look forward towards every single night. He has a really good odds. I mean, 27% odds every week to win. So that's pretty good.
I mean, we've seen it in other leagues. The AOLL had Blake Gordon. We had a few people in Fuel that would always be up there. And right now, if we look at the top of the table, there he is. Currently our pole sitter.
Yeah, we're looking at the second place, Brandon. I'm not going to butcher your last name, so we're going to go with the number 98, Brandon here. He's out there. He's got 42 starts so far in the Street Stock Series. And, he's got average of 8 top 5. So, I mean, he's been up there the whole entire time. I mean, he's got 50% chance of finishing in the top 10. So he's got 21 top 10s. So the man's out there putting in the work every week and coming home and bringing home the great points nights. I mean, having that many top 10s, really helps you at the end of the series of being consecutive.
Well, we won't talk about last week then.
It wasn't one of his top 50. It was the other half of the 50.
Yes, he had a 16th last week, but it happens. So let's just go ahead and see if we can even find anybody out on track, and apparently no, I can't. And Travis Hoffler is making his way around and, well, parking it. Yeah, we're just at that point. It's just kind of how things end up going at this point.
Yeah, basically everybody's already done their 2 laps are out there. There's Adam Gabel. He's out there, and 91. Oh, he's not, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a matter of sometimes it just likes going to the scenic.
Blimp camera.
I have to change things. I mean, I can go to the blimp if you really want to go to the blimp. But
Yeah, no.
I'm a bigger fan of going on board. This is John Crossan, the number 10, one of our title sponsors for the races tonight.
It's loose right there.
Who decides to give us a little show coming off the corner. And yeah, we're just apparently at the point that should be seeing that checkered flag.
You'll get about 5 more seconds here before the first round of qualifying is going to be over, and then we'll go to the Heat 1.
So that is going to be, with the number of cars we have, the bottom 10 on the night. So these 10 will be duking it out for those last final positions. And let's see if it's working. It is working correctly. So as it stands, Dante Curtis is our pole sitter. And now we've got the checkered flag going, so never mind. We can run through the starting grid right here for... No, we can't. Haven't figured this one out yet.
Yeah, so now you're going to be going into it. They're not going to give you the full grid until heat rate.
Well, I can do it right here from the tower.
Yep, so we got the number 23 of Gary Etchen. It's going to be starting first. Thomas Stewart's in second. Third will be Thomas Fridge. Fourth is Devon Rogers. Fifth is Shane Loveridge. Sixth is Jerry Lyon. Seventh is John Cross. Eighth is Dan. I'm not going to butcher that one. Jen Janin. Jeff Mathis will be ninth, and 10th is Josh Ackard. So that is going to be your 10 people who are going to be racing in this heat.
And again, it'll be 15 laps, and no laps under caution will count for anything. So once we get ourselves up and running, hopefully this week we can get ourselves a good clean 15 laps, because Rockingham is going to create a great opportunity for these guys to run side by side, run cleanly, and really take advantage of the drafting package that these cars will provide.
These cars are going to get a little bit of draft going on the back straight away. The front, they're kind of going to be moving around coming out of turn 3 and 4, but that's where they're going to pick up their most speed, is through 3 and 4. You're able to really carry your speed through that way. So you're going to see people, you can run the low line and you kind of run the middle to high line as well to kind of, get as much speed as you can. For me, for 1 and 2, I like to hug the line all the way around, but I mean, there's other way to attack it. You can kind of diamond it. You kind of run the outside wall. I mean, there's so many ways you can attack turn 1, because it's a little bit of more of a funky corner.
And the pace truck is off, and we are getting ready to go green. Gary Eschen leads us to the flag, and he is off, does not get a fantastic jump. Thomas Stewart is right there on the outside, and he has Devon Rogers right up his rear looking to take advantage of that little bit of a bobble that he just had. And we may get 3 wide here early in this race, as Gary Eschen is taking off to the lead, and Thomas Stewart goes up to that midline.
We got one on the apron right there. He recovers very well, loses all the spots.
Shane Loveridge, our lone, that looks like we have an Aussie in the group. I'm going to blame lag from overseas cables. But right now, Thomas Frisch is up on the rear bumper of Gary Eschen. He is trying to get down to the very lowest part of that track to be able to get a good run, cut as much track off as he possibly can, and he is inches away from getting up into that bumper of the number 23 as he goes high, leaving room for the 54 to get down below. He has just a little bit of his bumper underneath that car, and we have caution.
All right, yeah, these guys are out there running pretty hard right now.
Let's take a quick look. That is the 8 of Jeff Mathis, and that's Dan Janin. That is the tongue twister of the day. But he just happens to be the innocent bystander in that situation. And
yeah,
that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, Gary's still holding on the lead right now, so he's up there. We got Thomas Fritsch. He's sitting there right behind him at that number 54. So he's itching to get there and try to win this heat. But I mean, you're sitting good right now where he's at.
Honestly, there should be absolutely no hurry from these guys. We still have quite a few laps, and I'm waiting to see if that lap is gonna come back to us. And no, maybe not. Maybe the laps are counting this time around. Nope, there it goes. Now we're back to where we should have been.
Yeah, sometimes SDK doesn't like to. It takes a minute for it to update.
But
whenever for these.
With these guys, it's not going to be urgent for the top two. The guys behind them may be worthy of, having a little bit of impatience. But with how many laps we have and the opportunities for racing at this track, you just got to be patient. Make sure you keep it on the track first and foremost.
Yeah, this is a tricky car on a tricky track here, and you hit below the apron here is not a good thing in any car that you're going to run. So these cars are also just a little bit more sensitive whenever you hit the apron and love to come around really quickly. The body roll in these cars are ridiculous. But the pace car light is off. We're going to go green here with 13, or now it'll be 12 laps to go.
No, it'll be 13. Well, yeah, 12
there goes
once we actually get going again. But they are lining up side by side. And we're going to have to wait and see because the restart is dictated by the leader in this situation. So, will Gary be able to get a good jump, which I would assume yes. Get himself clear of the 54 and maybe carry the 25 of Devin Rogers along with him to get him up into third.
Yeah, let's see. The pace truck is about to pull off.
So we got
there he goes.
V going right there. And Gary is off immediately, looking to get about a 1 car length gap in front of the 54. But the 25 is diving down low and getting himself a good half car in front of the 54 of Thomas Frisch. And he's fighting back on that outside along the backstretch, but going into turn 3, he's going to lose a little bit of extra speed, but it looks like he may be able to make that outside line work.
Yeah, so 1 and 2 is your kind of trouble spot in these cars going through it, but 3 and 4, the outside line really helps you build up that momentum for that front stretch. And as you can tell, he was able to use that momentum, pass him going into turn 1, was able to clear him, drops down in second place. Now we're basically a single file for the rest of the field.
And again, we've got 11 laps. You just need to make sure you are within striking distance at the end. And what I'm actually going to do is get myself, we'll go ahead and take a ride on board with the man that is just outside. Oh, as we're seeing a little bit of action. You know what? Let's go on board with Thomas Frisch right now inside of that number 54 as he's trying to make moves on that low line.
Yeah.
He's getting himself down there. He's getting the runs and just right now, just backing off. Now's not the time to be battling too hard for the positions.
Yeah, you want to kind of cool off your tires here. I know the street stocks, the tires don't heat up too particularly quick here, so he wants to keep the tires relatively cold, ride behind him while he can, and try a little bit of different lines. You got a little bit of time. I see he entered a little bit higher that time. Got a heck of a run coming off. Right on the back bumper right now, going into turn 3.
And he's showing that he has that speed right now. He's just not doing all that much. He's making his presence known. But what I'm seeing is John Cross also getting himself in position to make sure he's in a safe spot when we hit that checkered flag from this heat. He's barely given any room on the number 25 as he's sticking his nose down below, gets chopped off ever so slightly. But we're starting to see a run from Jerry Lyon on that outside. He's probably thinking with only 6 laps to go, now's the time to start making moves and get myself into that feature race tonight.
Yeah, he's seeing the top 2 is able to do it and kind of safely up there. As he gets the second place, just gets a little bit wild there. He got a little loose, come off the corner, but he's trying to get past the number 64 of Thomas Stewart right now. He's running side by side.
And he's not losing much ground, but we are seeing that low line does seem to have the advantage. But we may start seeing a little bit of chaos in front of them, and that may be what gives the opportunity to these current 5th and 6th runners. But them going side by side is not going to give them the opportunity to get up to the front, as Jerry does make a dive down on that low side. He's going to have a little bit of a help of the draft from John Cross, but I don't think that's going to be enough for him to get that position fully going into turn 1. Maybe coming out of turn 2, if he doesn't quite get the run, he gets the job done. And will he be able to hold off, or is he about to be crossed over by Thomas Stewart?
Yeah, right now, man, these guys are running side by side at number 54 of Gary. And just running them really tight.
And these guys, there's no glory on the line here. Why go this hard? But I'm happy they are, because this gives us an entertainment, as Thomas Frisch does have the nose in front of Gary Eschen for moments, and the second I finish saying it, it's gone. But as we come out of turn 2, he's going to have that extra run, and he's going to be able to not quite lead the lap, but if we stay side by side like this, we may end up having a photo finish, and we're not going to be able to call it until iRacing gives us that final word.
I mean, look at John Cross right now. He's underneath the 25, Devon Rogers right now, and everybody will make it 3 wide. The 77 is out there. He went to the high side. Oh, the 64 is on the inside.
Oh, and that is a barrel. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's on the final lap. The white flag has already been given, so these guys are going to race to the end here. No caution. 54 is running side by side right now with the number 23 of Gary. And so these guys are going to run in.
And right now, that is the best way for them to finish. They're going to make it into the feature. So right now, it's just more bragging rights, getting a little bit of touch in there. Gary Eschen takes the heat. He will be starting 27th tonight. Thomas Frisch will get the 28th spot. And we are officially gridding up with our top 30. We have 5 minutes worth of warm-up. And unfortunately, I'm not a fan of this already. SDK has already reset it to where I can't go back and show some highlights of that, because that would be fantastic.
These guys have been put on a heck of a show, so now we're going to see the rest of the field here come out and kind of get warmed up. They've sat around for the heat race, so they're going to kind of go back in and try to figure out, get comfortable back in the car again. Getting a little cold just sitting there for about 5-10 minutes there.
So while we go ahead and do that, we are just going to go ahead, leave the camera on finding the most exciting people. After calling that, I need another glass of water. So we'll just turn it up and take a quick break. And we are back, just watching a little bit of this action while our feature drivers are making their way out, getting back in the saddle, and getting themselves ready for 125 laps here around Rockingham.
These are going to have a blast tonight. I mean, we saw the heat race. I mean, that was just with 10 people. We're going to kind of triple that here, and we're going to go to town here, and you're going to have the top and the cream of the crop here in the North-South Racing League go at it here from the Rock.
And we did get to see it is very possible for us to be seeing 2x2 action throughout this track. If we can keep everyone together in two distinct lines formed, I actually believe that the outside line could be the advantageous, as long as we are seeing people forming up and getting some good drafting, because honestly, short of what is a super speedway in these, because Charlotte's a super speedway in these cars, honestly, that's going to be the biggest thing that we can possibly end up seeing tonight, is without a doubt a lot of drafting and a lot of teamwork can come into play for the strategy tonight.
Yeah, these guys are gonna have to try and find a good strategy to kind of keep their tires kind of not used up, because this track is very abrasive. It eats away these tires. It's very old, and lots of bumps. And when you have older tires, you hit the bump a little bit wrong going into the corner, and it could send these cars a little bit sideways. So these guys are going to have to kind of work through this and kind of, hopefully they've tested some long run speeds for themselves.
Who needs to know how to run a long run? Gotta know how to go fast. Says
always.
The guy that always runs a full field run at least twice before a race. But
if not more.
Listen to what I say, not what I actually do. All right. So right now, let's go ahead and bring up our grid. Dante Curtis is our pole sitter, but he will actually be starting in 6th tonight. Ryan Johnson is in 2nd. 3rd is Dustin Shepard. 4th is Brandon. I'm really not even going to try that again tonight. 5th is Jared Apel. 6th, Justin Rigsby. Sorry, I know a Jess Rigby. I'm going to screw that one up multiple times. 7th is Jeff Bergener. 8th is Jason Gordon. 9th is Jordan Madron. 10th is Will Eastman.
11th is Jesse Womack. 12th is Justin Grosser. 13th is Philip Martin. 14th is AJ Hamill. 15th is Josh Nelms. 16th is Matt Cook. 17th is Randy Nichols. 18th is Brian Hacker. 19th is Zach Edwards. And 20th is Cody Hubbard.
All right. And okay, I'm confused. 21st is Robbie Clavey. 22nd is Ryan Dye. 23rd is Matt Dula. 24th is Casey Wood. 25th, Adam Gebel. And 26th is Travis Hoffler. And that is all the more that this wants to show me, which is... Oh, nope, there we go. And 27th is Gary Ashton. 28th, Thomas Stewart. 29th, Thomas Frisk. And 30th is Devin Rogers. And we are ready to go racing. So the pace truck is about to peel off on us. And we are going green flag racing for the feature race. And the flag is flying and we are off. Justin Rigby is taking over the lead, but that is a very stacked up field with Jared Apel in the outside, and Brandon in the 98 is getting a good run on that low line And if we can get them stacked up, the more we can have these nose-to-tail situations, the faster these guys are going to be with the draft package. But we are staying side by side, and we're going to see a little shakeup going through the front stretch. And our first lap is going to be led by Justin Rigsby. And in second is the 98 of Brandon. Jared Apel is in third, and we're starting to see that group try to go single file, but Ryan Johnson gets down on that low line. We see a little bit of a bobble from the 98. That's going to push him up the track. We are going to see the number 3 get down below. Jared Apel is going to look to try to maybe squeeze between those two cars and ends up sliding up the track, and we're back to side by side for that second place.
Yeah, these guys are running pretty hard right now. These are fighting for tooth and nails, trying to stay up there. As you see the lead battle here, just getting hotter and hotter. That outside line is not prevailing like we thought it would. The 51 is dropping back, and everybody else is, the fastest lane right now we're seeing is the bottom lane.
And I think that the top lane is going to come into its own once these tires get a little bit worn. The Hoosiers are not going to have as much grip as we get deeper into a run. So that low line, they're going to have to lay off the gas ever so slightly more to be able to hold the low line. But we are starting to see everybody just get into that processional line. And we're seeing Jared Apel, who started in third on the grid, is now back in 7th, and we're going to make a quick trip back to look at this battle. This is the battle for 11th with AJ Hamill and Justin Gordon. AJ Hamill gets the pass done, moves himself up in front of the 29, and now it's time to start catching the rest of the pack. But we're going to move back forward as Jared Apel in the 51
hits the wall.
Oh, we've got a little bit of a wobble right there in the 51, and that's going to leave the door open for these gentlemen behind them, the 14 and last week's second place finisher of Dante Curtis. He's having a little bit of a rough go of it today, but still in the battle. He's down 2 positions from where he started. But right now, that 14 of Jesse Womack is dropping, ending up on that low line. The 13 of Will Eastman is going to challenge around the outside. Will he be able to hold enough speed? Or is he going to try to cross over, getting down low? He's having to defend from AJ Hamill in the 22, who's looking a little bit racy right now, trying to get his nose down below the 13. He's darn near close. He's going to try dropping down, but he has to back off as the 13 goes a little bit aggressive, maybe cuts him off a little bit, but now's not the time to be testing those limits.
Yeah, the 22 and the 13, they are trying to figure each other out. They're out there seeing what the track's going to offer, trying different lines. It's one thing to try to do your fast laps in practice and kind of race around each other. Who knows what type of tire strategy they are on when you're racing them, but now everybody's on the same tire strategy and trying to make it work, both by saving their tires but not trying to fall back too far. As we see the number 89 right now, he's starting to get ran over. A lot of people are coming at 21. That wonderful chrome machine is catching up to number 98. He's on the outside right now, hugging the outside wall, getting a bump draft going out the back straightaway even.
And these cars are not the best for that bump draft, because we can see the front end's a little bit angled, and some cars, it's very easy to lift that back end off of the track and send them spinning.
Yeah, these guys are fighting it out right now. 21, I believe, he's found this track. He is closing the gap here using that draft. He's going to try and get his nose underneath there. But Dustin shuts it down. Jeff's going to have to kind of look back and try and find a different angle to try to attack as he dives underneath.
And right as I change to that gearbox camera. got to see a little bit of that chrome being a little bit of a disadvantage, but the 21 coming out of turn 2 has an amazing run, and the 89 is trying to slam the door, but Justin Rigby gets a little tag. They hold on to it, but the 31 is not going away, and it looks like the 89 may actually be a roadblock right now, because we're starting to see that field stack up, and as people are getting down below him, they seem to be getting past, as the 31 is right there getting a bump draft. I wonder if there may be a little bit more than just a bump draft going here soon.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they're trying to catch back up to the leader of Ryan Johnson. Maybe.
I don't think that there's much catching up right now, as we'll just go there to the blimp, and there's not another car in sight.
Yeah, he's the one that's having a wonderful time right now. Seeing all this chaos happen behind him and bump drafting, running too wide. He can run whatever lane he wants. I mean, Jeff also got out there, and he's running the lanes he wants right now as well. So, we'll see what happens here as the 31 and the 89. They work together, work against each other, as they're too wide right behind them.
And that is, and we're just seeing stack up after stack up. One pair of cars, like right now, the 51 and the 98, they are going side by side, and that's going to stack everyone up behind them. The 03 is looking to make a move and get himself back up into that top 5. He was our top qualifier tonight, and just having a little bit of a rough go of it with that shakeup in the inverted field through the top 6.
Yeah, these guys are trying to stay. You got the 4th guy in line right there. He was slid sideways through it. Somehow was able to regain it and then continue on there. Didn't lose a spot. As I say that, the 22 is right now underneath him, taking that spot away from him.
And we'll take advantage of this being one of those virtual worlds and get that beautiful chase. This is our 5th place runner right now, the 51 of Jared Apel, and we can see that little conga line that he has right behind him, and then just the absolute hornet's nest going on from 8th place on back, to where the 22 of AJ Hamill is the front runner of this absolute chaos. And we're seeing the number 11 of Brian Hacker trying to get his nose right there underneath, but he's under pressure from Jordan Madron and Randy Nichols as well. And these guys are not going anywhere and looking to get themselves back up, get into a much better position, because right now, if we had a caution and stack this field back up, we would be going back and forth as the number 11 is getting himself down there, gets a little bit of the apron. We've seen quite a few people getting a little aggressive, getting down on that apron, taking a little bit too much of that yellow line and going a little wide, well, tight, I guess, as the number 11 gets the pass done, but he's not completely clear. And there's the 69 of Randy Nichols giving a little bit of love to the number 11, and they are 3 deep on that low line, but we see AJ Hamill get himself up away from what potential chaos, especially from the 68 of Jordan Madron, who is trying to take as little of the track as possible, but it looks like he's best off to just drop in line, but they are not going away easily. The 68 is now trying to get himself down below the 22 of AJ Hamill, who's a little bit wobbly through turn 4.
Yeah, these guys are fighting. The 22 is trying to survive right now. That's basically in his mind right now. He's getting past. You can't get it in your mind that you're getting past like this. You got to be like, all right, well, I'll figure out a different line. I'll run, see what other people's are. And you got to get back in that groove. You can't count yourself out. We're still got a long ways to go here tonight. We're only at lap 23 of 125. So he's got a long ways to go.
Well, and we'll take a quick look up here at the front as Ryan Johnson, just an absolute banger of a night. He's got a second lead over second place, and Jeff Bergener is slowly catching up, but he's got about 2/3 of a second over third place of Dustin Shepard. But I've got to get back here to this just absolute scrap that we have going on back here for 10th place with AJ Hamill, Jordan Madron, and a name we have yet to say outside of the starting grid, Cody Hubrid.
Yeah, these guys are, they're put on a good show here. I mean, I think everybody, and we have our first caution.
Oh. Let's take a quick look. It's looking like it doesn't want to tell me who actually wrecked. All right. We're going to make a wild assumption and see if this is it.
Right ahead of it.
Let's go here. All right. Apparently, SDK does not like me today. So, all right, let's go ahead. Since we have just about everybody going into the pits right now, I can... Nope. All right. I'm going to have a little chat with them about what's going on. So unfortunately, we can't see the direct of that chaos because software is being a bit of a turd.
So right now, out there in the virtual world, we got Marshall Schiff going for Jordan Mandarin. We got Matt Dula out there. Dave Wright, wonderful AOLL guy. He's out there watching it. Nathan Reynolds says, young Ryan Dell. We got Kel Hurtis out there. Devon Rogers tagged some family and friends to come watch the show. Kel Curtis again, he's out there saying there's a stacked field tonight. So far, I mean, we've had full fields each week, so we're having a lot of heat races to try and figure out who's going to make it into the final show.
We've had quite a few broken hearts not even making it to the feature event.
I'll tell you back to when I first joined iRacing. I joined a league that had this on Wednesday nights, and I think it was 3 weeks in a row I didn't get it in, and the fourth week, whenever I did get in, something happened. Whenever it switched from qualifying to race, iRacing hung, and I didn't even get to race the race. I was waiting there forever, and I'm just like, what happened? And iRacing just hung. So, broken hearts can be one thing, and the computer can also give you some broken hearts.
I can honestly say I've never had to experience that heartbreak because I only ran officials for the first 3 years I was on iRacing. And then I joined the league where I met you, Adam. And they're such gentlemen, they don't boot anyone from a race.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, you try to put in some time and try and do your best to get that qualifying, and something just goes wrong, or you just don't hit it the way you've hit it off throughout practice or whatever, and you find yourself in that bottom half where you don't make the cut, and it's heartbreaking. Then you have to kind of race for your life there and try to make it into the final main during the heat race. So I feel for the guys that have to do that, but I mean it helps make for better competition because people who are in it want to be in it.
Well, and honestly, that's the biggest thing, is these guys, everybody that's out here tonight, they are here for one thing, and that's to win.
Yes, these guys are ready to go at it. Looks like the pace car lights are off. We're going to go green this time. Number 73 is going to be leading. So,
and right now, Robbie Clavey is in first, Dustin Shepard in second, and we are off to green, and he gets an amazing jump, gets a good car length jump, and that is going to give Dustin Shepard the opportunity to drop down into that low line. Ryan Johnson is in the third, and we'll see how many people are going to go ahead and see where we can go single file, but Dustin Shepard is not backing off, and he drops down to that low line. The number 3 follows him, and both of these guys are going to gain an extra position in the process, and we're seeing the 73 of Robbie Clavey just being hung out to dry on that outside lane, and caution is back out for us. And this time it actually told me. Oh, that is just mayhem.
Oh, the 22's been fighting up there all night long, gets himself into this one.
We'll take a look at this one from the blimp. Yeah, we've made comments about that 3 wide, and that 3 wide left them nowhere to go. And that's just unfortunate.
That's you know, 1 and 2 is not the corner you want to try and do 3 wide. I mean, it's got a little bit more bumps, and it's not as a predictable corner. 3 and 4 is a more curve of how smooth it is, and the banking transitions both come to the corner.
Oh, as we're on board with AJ Hamill right there, and it looks like he may have had a little bit of a squeeze down on him right there, but again, it's one of those unfortunate things to where normally it's when you're in the mid-pack, that's where things are going to be a little bit crazy, and we're seeing actually about a third of the pack made their way into the pits right there. So from 19th on down, went in, and I mean, this is one of those things where we'll actually get to see a little bit of a race here, as Matt Cook is going to be the first one off, and followed by John Cross, Adam Gable, Will Eastman, Jason Gordon, Devin Rogers, Robbie Clavey, Philip Martin, AJ Hamill, and Matt Dula are all making their way off of pit road right now at roughly 1/4 distance.
Yeah, these guys are want to have our hands full. Hopefully cautions don't breed cautions. I mean, we've got one quick caution afterwards. Maybe they'll kind of, you know, simmer down just a little bit and try to figure out the rest of this race.
Well, and I'm getting word from race control that the 06 of Zach Edwards is actually getting an end-of-line penalty for that, causing that incident. So that is one of those things that, unfortunately, I've been the one that's caused it far too many times, and most of the time going into the situation, you already knew that it was going to be you.
Yeah, you're hoping it's not you, but sometimes it is.
There's only been once or twice that I may have snapped on race control about getting the EOL, but I would say out of the, okay, I would say 3 digits worth of times it's been my fault. I knew it was my fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of them that I've been in, try not to, but you know, sometimes it happens.
And sometimes you door someone at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, sometimes that happens as well, and the caution doesn't come out for that one though.
Just so everybody out there that doesn't already know, there will be many references to the time I doored Adam at North Wilkesboro during playoffs. Many references to it. as we're lining ourselves up 2 by 2, and I'm making sure to not give Adam the opportunity to respond to that. As we are seeing the pace truck will be making their way off the track, and we'll get to see if Dustin Shepard gets a great jump and goes very early. He's getting a 1, 2, 3 car length lead over second place, and that is the 21 of Jeff Bergener, and he is down into the low line firmly in second place. But will the number 3 be able to get a good run? He's closing the gap on the backstretch. He seems to back off ever so slightly once he hits the turn, but he's within striking range, and our top 3 did a great job getting away, but the 51 may be able to start closing up that gap, getting a little bit closer to the top 3, and he's fighting and making his way up there to start fighting for a podium position.
Yeah, these guys are running pretty good right now. We got them running basically nose to tail for the most part, at least the top 5, 10. Behind there's a few of them that are kind of scattered out. You're running 2 by 2, door to door, as we can see right there. We have these 2 right here running side by side, and just nowhere for the 3 to drop down. As you can tell, they are nose to tail with not an inch between them right there, going down the back straightaway. The 14 trying to push him as much as he can, trying to allow him to get the 4 momentum so he can bypass the 3 so he can run his lane.
And we're starting to see the 54 gets his nose down below, avoiding the opportunity for the 03 to get himself in line. He manages to do it out of turn 2, but we're starting to see Dante Curtis having a little bit of rough luck tonight. But it's officially time for him to start trying to make himself some luck. Going forward, we're definitely seeing just about everybody just reaching that single file line throughout the track. I'm going to make a quick jump to the back here because I'm starting to see some side-by-side action on the ticker, as the 13 of Will Eastman and the 20 of Travis Hoffler going side by side, going into turn 3, coming back out. We're just going to see this pack constantly moving themselves into side by side, and it looks like that low line is the one that is just going to be getting the advantage throughout the night, as the 13 is down below the 25 of Devin Rogers. And again, the low line is proving to be the line to be on, and Philip Martin on the 46 is also getting himself taking advantage of the 25 being moved up the track. And I have a feeling that unfortunately Devin Rogers is going to be a victim to that exact thing until there are no more cars that can get below him.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to try and work together, so to speak. We've seen some people kind of do nose to tail drafting, but others are going to have to try something differently.
Oh,
we better
I
get
gotta
around these
interrupt
people.
you. We have a brand new leader. Ryan Johnson gets down below Jeff Bergener, and he is not giving up. The 21 is right there on his tail, and there is a whole lot of chrome currently visible from that back bumper of the number 3. I won't say it's the prettiest chrome, but there's a lot of chrome right there, as we're seeing a lot of sparks coming off the number 3 as they bounce through these turns. And the 21 is trying to get himself up alongside that number 3 and get himself below, because that is the place to pass.
Yeah, right now, I mean, there's a hornet's nest behind him. There's so many people trying to fight for that open air. You got the first 2 that are there. He has very good open air in front of him, but from behind the 89, you got Randy Nichols, Justin Rigsby, Brandon, number 98, Gary, 23. They're all like in a hornet's nest of people wanting to leapfrog each other, and You're driving out of the front windshield, out of the side mirror, out of the rear view mirror, just trying to.
Yeah, everybody is sitting there trying to keep themselves both safe and fast. And it's one of the advantages of being in a digital world that you don't have to trust just the tiny little 3-inch wide mirror that's on the driver's side of these cars. And then your standard rear view mirror, you have the nice digital panorama that gives you 120 degrees of view. But you still have to do a reasonable amount of trusting your spotter.
Yeah, the 14's right now on the outside. Jesse Womack, he's found himself both on the inside and outside part. He's doing what he can, trying to stay ahead of that number 54. Now, he's learned a little bit during the heat race. He's moved up 17 spots so far. So he is trying to make a name for himself here tonight, having to be in the heat races to get himself in there and have a battle for the lead. Number 3 is getting passed by the number 21. He is on the outside. The number 51 of Jared is on the back bumper of Jeff. Won't let him in. So let's see how far the 3 may drop back here, being stuck on the outside.
I think we are at the point in this run that the tires are going to be equalized where, yeah, these guys are all sitting, all came in 22 laps ago. So that outside line may be just as fast on this age of tires. And we're starting to see it to where Ryan Johnson's doing a fantastic job. I won't say that he is definitely the faster car, but I'm sorry. He just absolutely got a run there on Jeff Bergener. And I don't know if his tires have just fallen off, but he's also losing the position to Jared Apel right there. And he seems to have an absolutely nothing. And there is a freight train running around him.
Yeah, right now these guys are trying to figure out what's going on with them. He's starting to lose his positions here. Number 3 regains the lead. Jared moves into second. Randy Nichols is up to third. Dustin Shepard is now fighting Jeff for fourth. And it's a heck of a battle. We're 2x2 right now. Door handle to door handle, lug nut to lug nut as they go down the back straightaway here.
And we're only 40% into this race right now. And these guys, and we're seeing this kind of battle up at the front. This is what I come to expect from what is essentially an intermediate track in a stock car. These guys, there's not really a need for the brakes. It's more of just laying off the throttle a little bit. So if you're brave, you can just keep in the throttle, run a higher line, or keep in it a little bit more. But we're starting to see the 23 get a little bit racy. He's getting his nose down below the 21. He's going to try that inside line himself and see if he is able to get himself up into fourth there, side by side. And there may be a little more chrome coming off of that 21 as we are entering turn 3. He has the 89 right behind him, right on his bumper. He's going to give him a little bit of a draft that should help him get a little extra speed, but he's actually looking to that outside line, trying to get the optimal line through 1 and 2. But this battle is not going away as they stay side by side. The 89 is right up there on the 23. He's staying down there in this side by side action. That has to be murdering these Hoosiers on the 23.
Yeah, the 23 is doing what he can to try and stay on that bottom line, trying to hug it as much as possible. He doesn't want to float up and accidentally hit Jeff or anything like that, trying to keep as clean as possible. But the 89 car is all over his back bumper. He's like, well, one of you guys complete the pass. I want to go around you.
I don't know which of you that I need to be pushing right now, because it doesn't matter which one I push. neither of you are getting there, and he's looking up the middle. There may be enough room, but he doesn't have quite the run to take it 3 wide. But he's going to stay on that low line. He's going to push the 23 of Gary Eschen. And that may be the horse to back in this situation, as both of them are down below the 21. The 21 gets a little bit of a run, gets himself back up along the outside. The question will be, who decides to run the lowest line going through the front stretch? The 23 is taking the low line. No one's really cutting the course, as there is that opportunity here at Rockingham. I don't recommend it because, again, it's bumpy and it will throw you everywhere. And right now, the 23 is starting to lose a little bit of ground on the 21. The 21 is seeming to get good runs, but we're seeing a little bit of a battle right there between Randy Nichols and Jared Apel. This is the battle for, okay, 2nd through 7th.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now you're going to see which line's going to move now. Will the 23 be able to stack up behind the number 69 right there? Will they be able to work together and get that bottom line rolling, or can the 21 help push the guy in front of him and get that top line rolling?
Oh, as the 23 drops down to the low line, the 51 is around the outside. We see some touches. The 69 starts bouncing off of cars, but we keep it together. Oh, until the 23 and the 51 connect. And that's going to bring out the caution.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a front row seat to what was a great section of racing right there. And just a little bit of an unfortunate connection with the outside wall for the 51. And then it's just a chain reaction.
Yeah, you know, everybody's going really hard right there, and just to see that little bit of 3 wide action, you know, it gets you a little bit more uncomfortable. You haven't really raced there 3 wide at all tonight so far, and where your car's at, just not where it needs to be. You don't know where exactly your exact line needs to be.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's really unfortunate to see the cars that we did, because these guys were doing an amazing job running at the front. But I mean, there's only so much you can do when, and not to be the one to editorialize right there, that's, while directly Jared was the one that caused that wreck, he was pushed out wide in a turn by someone else, so I wouldn't necessarily really blame anyone in this situation, because it's hard to, without us sitting here and reviewing the film for probably a half an hour.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, you know, we're not admin, so we're out here just trying to call what we can, what we're seeing right now. And, you know, we get 1, maybe 2 shots to try to get it correct from all different angles that we kind of provide. So we're out here just trying to give us the best educated guess that we can of what's going on there. I mean, the only people truly know what's happening is the drivers that are in the car and the admins who kind of research this after the race.
And we are also going to show that high quality North Carolina and Ohio education, so we should not be trusted in any situation.
Yeah. Oh man. So you know, we're getting there. We're at 62 laps of 125. We're getting close to that halfway mark. So these guys are putting on a heck of a show for us. We got tons of action all throughout the race. I mean, up front, we got two wide, and we saw 3 wide where it just went haywire. We got people battling for the lead. Nobody really pulled away on like the first segment that we had, the first 25 laps. Number 3 car really kind of just gapped the field. But the second time around, you know, he had a little bit of pressure. So we'll see what happens for the next half the race.
Well, we were definitely starting to see the 3 of Ryan Johnson. he was starting to put a little bit of a gap on the field before that caution came out. But, all right, as we are hearing from race control, the 51 is actually going to get the EOL for that. And that kind of is the direction I was leaning. He is ultimately the one that caromed off a wall to cause that chain reaction. But at the end of the day, I'm ready to go back racing. Justin Rigby is going to be the one to set the pace going off, actually, right now. Because as we enter turn 3, the lights on the pace truck are off, and he will have the 21 on his outside, our previous leader right behind him, and someone that was getting real racy in the 89 on the outside of the second row, as the pace truck is off and our leader is off, gets a really good jump, gets about a half a car length out in front, but that's not going to open up any opportunities for that outside line to get down. The number 3 is right there on his bumper, and the 03 right behind him. There he is, Dante Curtis, making his way up through the pack. He is on that low line, hugging the yellow and trying to hang out our 2-car pack. That is the 21 of Jeff Bergener, and I've officially lost that, and that is Dustin Shepard also on that outside line. But right now, Ryan Johnson is making a move on that low line, gets himself down, gets a little bit loose in turn 3, and just now collects it. And that's going to give the opportunity for that outside line to really get something. But the 03 is right up on the regular 3, and then the 13 right behind him. If these guys can get themselves in a nice orderly line, that's going to give that lower line an advantage. But we are 2 by 2 for the top 4 right now, and we're waiting to see if the 03 can close things up, and the 13 gets a little bit loose in 5th place. But these guys are going side by side, not giving any kind of an inch, and we're seeing just absolutely fantastic racing at the front of this pack right now, as we see the 13 end up diving off the track.
We got a yellow flag
out. It looks like that was the 25 of Devin Rogers. And oh, there's that 3 wide coming into play, and that ends up giving somebody a little bit of a wall ride right there. And that looks like the 14 actually gets up into the 90, putting him up on the wall, and that's some mid-pack wreckage going on right there. And while we are under caution, we are going to go ahead and take a quick water break, as we are officially past the halfway point right now. We're on lap 69 of 125. So we'll take a quick break and we will be back. And we are back. This time around, we didn't really see as many people diving into the pits as we have in previous. We only have 55 laps left to go, and there are a few people. Basically, it looks like our top 8 decided to stay out. That caution came out a little bit sooner than we would have anticipated, but as it stands, we don't have that kind of a shakeup up front.
User joined your channel.
And currently the pace truck is ready to come in after this lap, so it's time for us to go ahead and start getting 2x2. And I would love to say that we had a little bit of shake-up, but you know what? We get to see Ryan Johnson on the outside, Justin Rigsby on the inside, Jeff Bergener on the outside of row 2, and Dante Curtis on the inside of row 2.
Yeah, I mean, these guys right now are really gathering it up. You know, hopefully cautions don't breed cautions here. Pace truck is about to go in, and these guys are about to have a blast finishing off the last 50-ish laps here. About 54 more laps to go.
And the pace truck is off, and Ryan Johnson gets a great jump, but Jeff Bergener does not give him any kind of space, and those two are actually side by side and ready to go. And it looks like right now we're starting to see that stack up right behind him, as we're seeing the 03 starting to fall back. Started in 3rd and now has fallen all the way back to 5th. Manages to get himself down in single file.
Oh, he went sideways there, was able to regroup, but we got 3 wide action right now. Another one into the wall after the 3 wide.
I probably ended up missing that because I wanted to make my way up here and see the 13 making their way up into 3rd, but he's got side by side to where we're seeing the 03 and the 31 getting side by side, and the 89 is making his way back up to the front after losing a little bit of a position from that 3 wide that we saw that caused the caution a few, well, 2 cautions ago at this point. But
yeah,
right now they're side by side. The 03 has the low line, the 31 on the outside, trying to make things work, and they are at the point that the tires should be able to make a difference. But the 89 is now the one that is down below, as the 03 gets right in front of the 31, and the 31 is starting to make the drop back.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. He has nobody out there pushing him from behind. The guy in front of him, he's there for a little bit, the 03. 89's putting the pressure on the 03 as well. The 03's contemplating on dropping down, and he finally does. Cuts the air off the 89 just a little bit. The 89's having to drop down low. You know, you're always in the back of your mindset is like, am I clear of that car behind me? You don't want to come down and clip him. So the 03 is being hesitant about what he's doing, but 89 is running side by side. Very clean races between him and the 31.
What are you talking about? You don't just, when you think you're clear, just move up?
I mean, sometimes, you know, but you know, that's how the big one happens, especially where they're at right now. That these guys are running 5th and 6th here. They wreck, the whole entire field's going to wreck.
Well, and right now, especially considering the 11 of Brian Hacker is trying to make his way up into this fight, give the 89 just that little bit of a push, and that, I'm sorry, that beautiful Pontiac paint scheme that he's running there. It's not beautiful right now because
it's not.
Seen some better days, but that's just a sign of some good racing that we've been seeing tonight, and this is just absolutely brilliant as the 89 starting to get a little bit fresh, pushing the 31 up towards the wall, but that's actually giving the 11 the opportunity to get himself down onto that low line, have a chance on the 31. And right now, these guys, this is definitely the best battle that we have going out on track, as the 31 of Justin Rigsby, I swear I'm going to screw that one up more than I want to, as they touch going down the front stretch, but they separate, and that's going to give the 11 the opportunity to get himself down below. But the 89 is not getting quite the runs that the 11 of Brian Hacker needs to be able to get himself around the 31.
And then we got Philip Martin coming in right now. He is trying to fit in his way into it. The 11, of Brian Hacker, he's going to have to start watching himself, so the 68 is almost dropping below the apron there to get underneath Philip Martin. So these guys are fighting all the way through the pack, as we can see.
And that is absolutely brilliant, but they are reaching that point as we're about to take a 3 wide on the front stretch. The 11 has the low line, the 89 in the middle, and the 31 on the outside. This has been dangerous all night, but it looks like these guys are going to give each other plenty of space. But the people that are just right now just licking their chops are the 46 and the 68 right behind them, as we're starting to see the 89 and the 31 getting really close. They're going to have to give each other a lot of respect going through here as the 89 gets in front of the 11, and now we're down to 2 wide as opposed to 3 wide, and that, I don't know if that's actually safer right now.
Yeah, I mean, that all came about because the number 89 of Dustin Shepard, he dropped below the apron, clipped it just a little bit, and it slid him up high, which slowed him and the number 31 down just a little bit. That let Brian Hacker get underneath him and start that 3 wide. But now they're back to door-to-door racing. The number 11 of Brian Hacker's right on the back bumper, and the Philip Martin is trying to find a way underneath Brian Hacker. He doesn't want to go to the outside. He wants to get underneath of Brian Hacker.
Well, and I got to take a quick jump up front as the 13 of Will Eastman gets the pass done, gets himself up into the front, but he is going to be going side by side with Ryan Johnson of the number in the 3. And these guys, why does there have to be battles throughout the track? I want to watch them all.
I mean, jump back. I mean, there's battles everywhere. AJ Hamill, Matt Cook, they're both running side by side. They just got AJ Hamill just got by Matt Cook in the 15. I mean, there's close racing. There's 4 wide or 4 deep right there, back in 14th, 15th, 16th with Adam Gabel, Jesse Womack, Justin Grosser.
I want to sit there, but right now, this battle for the lead, you can't ignore the fact that we have 3 cars constantly swapping back and forth. Will Eastman currently has the advantage, but he has the 3 right underneath that bumper and not giving an inch, and it's a matter of who gets the better run off of the corners. Right now, Ryan Johnson is looking to find his way around the 13 of Will Eastman, and Jeff Bergener is 100% just waiting to see what the outcome is and figure out where he can start to take advantage, because the second one of these 2 gets below the other, they go side by side, he's in the perfect position to be able to take advantage of the slower lap times that those 2 are going to have.
I mean, he's doing his best. I mean, Jeff, he's in the catbird seat. Let these guys mess up or wear out their tires. You run your race. You're staying within that, little bit of a draft bubble that you get here, and can just run his lines comfortably, and then let these guys kind of duke it out for the next 15, 20 laps, wear the tires out, overheat them for trying to find all these different ways, and just try to capitalize at the end.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and just take a quick look from his roll bar camera.
Look at the sparks fly.
That was the biggest reason why I wanted to get on board with these, is because you can see the bounciness of this track is making those sheet metal sides drag and send the sparks flying over the cars behind you. You get to see everything as the exhaust just backfiring through the exhaust as these guys lay off. And as a driver, I'm looking at the line that Jeff is taking, hearing the exhaust notes, and he has more speed. He's just waiting to see what happens in front.
I mean, if you look at him, I mean, he's diving in the corner, hitting the yellow line well before these other two. I mean, his line's a lot different from them. I mean, you would think the leader would be running this line, protecting that low line at all costs, diving underneath. But they're doing a little bit later entry than what he's doing.
And that could just be a little bit of follow the leader from Ryan Johnson in second. But this just goes to show that there is just that little bit different of mentalities as Ryan Johnson looks to the outside on the front stretch. Nothing really comes of it. But these guys are starting to just fall in line for the last 30-ish laps. But I gotta make the jump back. I gotta go back to these guys because they're just gonna provide endless entertainment. As Justin Rigsby is under attack from two different cars right now. Gary Eschen gets the pass done, but there's also AJ Hamel involved in an early incident, making his way back up to the front, and Matt Cook is also joining the party. And this group of four is tight and looking to just make things racy.
I mean, you get a perfect angle there in the last lap. You saw where the 23 gained in the center of the corner there, running that bottom line. And then on the outside line at number 31, just rolls it and was able to kind of power right by it. You see the 23 right now, he's ahead of him. Going down the back straightaway, the outside line just gets so much more momentum. When the 22 just bumps him there at the end, kind of pushes him going in the corner to make that inside line roll a lot better.
And that's going to be the big thing. And again, we're seeing Matt Cook is the car at the back of this little group. He's actually running that same line that Jeff Bergener is running. The early corner entry and the just hold that low line. And it's working out for him, but they're trying to take advantage of that long battle that is currently going on for 9th place.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now if the 15 kind of hops up there, ooh, bump almost a little bit there, jumps up on the outside line, it might give the 31 Justin Rigsby just a little bit more momentum there going on the back straightaway to have somebody to draft with.
Well, and that's the big thing that I'm starting to see. The outside line may be the preferred line on these aged Hoosiers, but that low line is able to run significantly tighter because we're 3 deep right there.
Yeah, these guys are trying his best, and that 31 Justin, it's just hanging out there doing his best.
We're going 3 wide into turn 1. The 22 on the low line, 23, and then the 31 on the outside. The 31 is taking advantage of that extra momentum that he had coming out of turn 4 to get himself up to the lead of this. Now it's the 22 and the 23, Gary Eschen and AJ Hamel fighting, and we're starting to see a little bit of a hornet's nest that's going to take advantage of this side-by-side racing to get themselves back up, as there's a little bit of a backup going on right now behind Justin Rigsby in the 31. But I got to jump back up to the front because these guys, are just, they seem to have found their groove, and we've got 25 laps to go at this point. So is it going to be make sure we have enough of a gap to where if we battle, there's not going to be more cars coming to join us?
I mean, these guys are doing what they can. Jeff right now has a pretty good little 2-second lead over the 4th place. So, I mean, Jeff can just hang back there and try and wait just a little bit longer. We got 24 laps to go. So, I mean, he's not that much in a hurry, but he kind of is, seeing that the number 3 is of Ryan Johnson is all over the back bumper of Will Eastman. Can't get by him, but he's doing his best to just hang there and pressure him. And hopefully Will Eastman makes a mistake, and that's what Ryan's hoping for. Well, as you can see that close up.
I was going to say that the ZL1 logo of this nondescript car that is the street stock. So he's just wanting to make sure we know, yeah, that's what my radiator is supposed to look like. But right now, Ryan Johnson is toying with Will Eastman. As we keep seeing him pop out to that outside, he's saying, if I really wanted to right now, I could definitely get myself outside. Will is probably thinking to himself, as long as I have the low line, I'm fine. But as we've seen in battles throughout the back of the field, it's even. If not advantage outside.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for Jeff to really get up there and pressure these guys. But I mean, he's got to be replaying in his head right now. You know, you're sitting there in 3rd and you're watching these 2 guys in front of you. I mean, running basically nose to tail, sometimes with maybe an inch separating them. And you're just running there. You know, you got to run through every scenario. If I run higher this time, I'll catch him here. You know, you learn, you know, something different every single lap. Just trying to see if he's going to be able to put something together. And he's gone. Jeff is out. He's in the pit road.
And that is probably that 40% fuel coming into play. And let's take a quick look.
There's quite a few people already on pit road right now.
Well, we've gone 46 laps. And unfortunately, I haven't done enough testing. They most likely cannot make it to the end of this race, so you know what? Why not? Go ahead, pop on in, get your tires, and the undercut's not going to be very strong. We're only looking at about a 1/4 of a second difference between people's best times and their last lap times. So why not get it done so you are fully fresh? But the number of cars that we are currently seeing making their way in, we're going to go ahead and just pop back here as the 15 of Matt Cook. This is the battle for 7th. And okay, it's a battle.
I mean, so if it was you right now, going 17 laps to go, we're coming in, are you changing all 4 tires, or are you just doing fuel only?
Knowing that the drop-off has only been maybe a 1/4 to a 1/3 of a second, fuel only. No questions asked.
Gotcha. Yeah, some of these guys, I mean, Jeff stayed in there for 1:44 seconds, so I'm not sure if he got hung with a penalty there, because other people have coming in for 59, 57, 50, so he might have been caught with a penalty there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a pit road.
Do the math to know.
Pit road time said 1:13, but he sat there for another 30 seconds after that.
Yeah, that's definitely a speeding penalty.
You know those times offhand.
Yeah. For everyone out there that's new to Ghostfire Media, I'm really terrible at pitting.
Yes,
That's all
yes,
the more
you are.
need to know. If you go back through, look at, as that is the 13th making his way into pit road. Manages to avoid the barrels.
But he almost got collected by Ryan Johnson there as he dove in there.
Takes over the lead. I don't know if everybody else is making their way into pit lane right now. I want to say it would be a miracle, as there he is on his way in, getting a little bit of drift in there. Hopefully gets himself down to pit lane speed before. But right now, Matt Cook and Travis Hoffler is going to take over the lead of this race. He has been out since lap 68. And we're starting to see just about everybody that has made their way in is about that time frame. Question becomes, does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? Because winning
there's some
on
people that
strategy.
I think there's a few people out there that were near the tail end, pitted underneath that last caution, whereas there's quite a bit that, the front half of the field stayed out. But, you could have played it a little bit different, came in and grabbed fuel near the end of that last caution, and could get you the extra 12 laps that you need.
But right now, there is the 20 making his way onto pit road, and it looks like the 51 of Jared April's a little bit braver. And he's going to be the one to win that battle as long as he got it down to speed. It looks like he slammed on the brakes, and Justin Grosser is going to take over the lead of this race. Get a lap led, trying to run it dry. And right now, the man who is, if assuming everyone else still has yet to pit, and we aren't going to see some people running it dry, Ryan Johnson. And basically, we're right back where we were in this conversation.
Ooh.
But Justin Grosser is the one in the lead of this race, and that's the 29, trying to get a little bit of a lap back, as we're seeing the 38 stay out for another lap. We have 9 laps to go as they cross the stripe.
So we got 3 more takers right now that we're staying out. They're all in right now. So we got, instead of 6 on the lead lap, we're down to basically going to soon to be 3 on the lap. 3, Justin, Jesse, and John. They're all going to be on the lead lap right now.
There goes the 14.
Jesse Womack's going in, and Justin's going to stay out. I mean, who knows? Maybe Justin stayed out enough on the other ones, saved up a little bit, or
well,
maybe
he and John Cross pitted on the same lap. It was lap 69, and we'll see with 8 laps to go if there is the random chance that these guys are going to be able to make it. You can conserve, and
there he
right
comes.
now he is on his way in. John Cross also
coming in as well,
makes his way in, so that is going to give the lead back to Ryan Johnson once he unlaps himself.
And he's got a 4.2 second gap right now over the 4th place of Dustin Shepard. So when he comes back around, it'll be Ryan Johnson, Dustin Shepard, and Will Eastman. You're going to be your top 3.
And this is what green flag pit stops will do, because honestly, you can only have a 1/10 of a second difference going into the pit stops, but if you miss your marks by the slightest bit, you can lose upwards of a 1/2 second from what's a negligible miss.
So Will Eastman and Ryan Johnson were, neck and neck right there as they went in. Will Eastman had a full pit road of 55.28 seconds, and his pit time was 22.17. But Ryan Johnson beat his pit road average time by over 5 seconds, and his pit stop time was about 2.5 seconds better. So, that's where Ryan Johnson beat out Will Eastman.
And right now we're looking at our leader starting to get close to some extra lap traffic. as he's coming up on the 51 of Jared Abel, who is already 1 lap down, and caution is out.
This is not what Ryan Johnson wanted to see whatsoever. Well, this is what the 31 of Justin Rixby, though. This is what he was hoping for.
So let's take a quick look, and this is actually happening in front of... I would assume this is what I'm looking for.
So the 25 ends, Devon Rogers, right above the yellow flag. That's when you gotta click on.
Oh, that's just the 25 getting up into the 30 right there, and it looks like, yeah, already just got the message from race control that that is on the 25. And I mean, there's absolutely no question there.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more than the 2.
Just a little bit.
And we have 3 laps to go, and this is going to bring us into green-white checkered territory. So once we get back to racing, we'll have 1 green flag a lap. After that lap's complete, we'll get the white flag. And then as long as we can get ourselves to that flag actually being the one flown, the next flag's a checkered. But that requires us to get through a full lap before that yellow comes back out.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully caution doesn't breed cautions at this point. Hopefully these guys can kind of manage to get through these next 3 laps cleanly. The number 3 of Ryan Johnson's kind of been dominant all night. I'm hoping that we'll be able to keep it up there. But Will Eastman, who's been giving him a run for his money up until that pit stop, is going to be starting right behind him.
Well, and right now Ryan Johnson's got a few fans out there in Facebook land and looking to get him through to the win. And the first time getting to visit the booth with us up here. And I'm not exactly sure why he's going down under the apron as much as he is, but
Right.
to each their own.
All right, well, in this league, for everybody who's watching, there is only 1 green flag, green-white checkers, so only 1 attempt here for overtime. So if there is another caution that comes out, whoever's leading the race at the time, we'll go back to the last scoring loop, will win.
And also just received information from race control that apparently the number 25 of Devon Rogers has been disqualified from the race for reaching the incident limit for the evening. So it's unfortunate that sometimes you get caught up in a lot of stuff in one night, but
And it doesn't have to be your problems. You just caught up in other people's accidents, and those points add up. You could be at the right place at the wrong time and the wrong place at the right time, and stack them up, or you could be the one causing them. It doesn't really matter in iRacing's view. Point is a point if you make contact.
And sometimes your semi-teammates door you and take you out in like 3 consecutive races. But the lights on the pace truck are off, and I'm really good at timing those tonight. So as we enter this, we essentially will have 2 more laps of racing tonight. And right now, Ryan Johnson is looking to get the restart of his life to get himself into that lead. Gets a little bit of a tap and then a run, but the 89 of Dustin Shepard does not lose much, but it's the 13 of Will Eastman that's going to be the problem. And he got himself up there, but it looks like he's going to be clear and able to run his line. The 13 is trying to get himself up into the full line, and we're starting to see the 15 there getting a little bit racy. but the 13 is right up on the 03. The 3 is taking that very low line, trying to protect, getting a little squirrely going into turn 1. The 13 is not giving an inch, and he's going to try to take advantage of any opportunity he can. The 89 is right there, is going to try to look low, look high.
Oh, man.
The 3 gets a little bit loose. The 89 is getting himself down below the 13, tags him, is around, catches
he saved it. Man.
But right now, Ryan Johnson takes the win.
Oh, man.
Okay. Okay. That was a brilliant finish. Green, white, checkers, as long as they actually make their way through, always create a lot of drama, a lot of great racing. And this was Ryan Johnson's race tonight. Just had an absolutely fantastic run. Was battling for the lead for quite a bit of the night. Will Eastman in second and Dante Curtis in third, as getting a little bit of a lineup right there as the 13 disappears on us. Let's take a quick run through the results. Are they going to show up or what?
Almost there.
Well, it's just lagging on me, apparently, as we get to see Ryan Johnson trying to do laps in reverse.
All right, Nick Adams out there. Yeah, that's a Nick Adams move right there, but he does that mid-race. He doesn't wait till do it after the race.
The software is not like me today. So in first is Ryan Johnson, second is Will Eastman, third Dante Curtis, fourth is Jordan Madron, fifth is Philip Martin, sixth Brian Hacker, seventh Justin Grosser, eighth is Dustin Shepard, ninth Matt Cook, 10th is Travis Hoffler.
11th is John Cross, who battles back up. 12th is Justin Rigsby. 13th is Zach Edwards. 14th is Gary Etchen. 15th is Casey Wood. 16th is Matt Dula. 17th is Robbie Clavey. 18th is Adam Gabel. 19th is Jesse Womack. And 20th is Ryan Dye.
All right, in 21st is Josh Nelms, 22nd Jared Apel, 21st Jeff Bergener, 24th is Jason Gordon, 25th Devin Rogers, 26th is Cody Hubrid, 27th is Thomas Frisch, 28th AJ Hamel, 29th Randy Nichols, and in 30th is Brandon Klesniski.
That was a heck of a race. Come down to the final lap. We got Will Eastman battling. Dante Curtis came out of nowhere up there. The 89, feel sorry for him. He got underneath him. He tapped Will Eastman just a little bit, and that just got his car all upset. But that man, that's the save of the race right there. He was able to take the wheel in his hand and not hit the inside wall, collect it, and still come back with a top 10 finish after that.
All right. Let's go ahead and have a quick chat with our
User
winner,
was moved to your channel.
Mr. Ryan Johnson. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Oh my God, my heart's racing. What's up, guys?
I bet so, man.
That last, I want to say 2 laps, but that last lap was absolutely brilliant. What was going through your mind through it?
I was cussing out whoever brought out that last caution. No, I don't know what happened on the restart between me and Dustin. I think we got together and I was just trying to get up to speed as quick as I could. And it seemed second gear and third gear were pretty even on the restarts tonight. And I started in third, just try not to have to shift as many times, and got a little bit of a lead, and then just try my best to hold it on the bottom with Will breathing down my neck. He came on fast late in the race, and he was really fast tonight. So just trying to keep him and Dustin behind me. I was looking out the mirror more than the windshield.
And Rockingham is not a great track to be doing that. Honestly, how was it driving in the street stocks?
I mean, I love the track personally. Like I ran a bunch of different cars here on iRacing, and I love every one of them. I love the track so far. The street stocks are pretty wild. It's almost like a Daytona or Talladega, for NASCAR, but there is some lifting involved, so it's not quite the same. But it's it's drafting. You got to be smooth, keep the car straight, and obviously avoid trouble all night. So that's always a challenge in itself, I know.
I was going to say, I ran some laps just to get a little feel for it, and it feels like in Atlanta, or probably what Atlanta is going to be with the repave, but that's another story for another day. But no, it was great for us. Obviously nerve-wracking for you because you could see both lanes come in. It seemed like the outside lane seemed to come in better towards the end of a run. But it was side by side most of the night, and we got to see you going side by side for what was probably a good 15 laps of pucker.
Yeah, if you could give room in both lanes, we could run side by side pretty good for a while with no issues. It's all getting into the corner because these cars, at least the setup tonight, was pretty loose in, and it felt like it wanted to come around on you. That's where the lifting came in, but it was definitely more noticeable on the high line, and you just tried to catch it a little sooner than on the bottom. But yeah, it was fun racing side by side. I think I did it with Will, maybe Dustin, whoever else was up there up front tonight. That was I think Jeff Bergener. He was up there. Yeah, no, good racing from good guys though. They really like this league.
Hey man, so you were dominating early. I mean, the first 25 laps before the first caution came out. I mean, you gapped the field there. I mean, you got to feel confident. And then, as the caution started rolling, people started finding a little bit of speed to kind of stay with you. And then you found yourself trapped behind them for a little bit. I mean, you were glued to his bumper the whole entire time. Were you just waiting your time to make your move, or you just couldn't find that right time to make the best move to get in front of them before the pit stops?
No, he seemed to have a smoother line for there with me, like behind me there for a while. So I wanted to, he got a run on me and I let him around, and then I was trying to ride behind him and maybe pick up on something that maybe I missed or didn't know, see if there's any more speed to be ahead. I knew we were going to have to pit. So, I was just trying to push him and stay ahead of, all the DCD guys I saw got hooked up back there. So I was just trying to keep a gap between us and them. And then I think they pit 2 laps before I did. And then I didn't know Will was coming down. I don't know if he called it out or anything. If he did, I might have missed it. But he came down, and then we came down the next lap. And I knew we had enough to finish. It was going to be really close, but we had a good lead there. And yeah, at least we got the win, though. Even with the green-white check, I'm still happy about that.
No, it was a great run from you tonight. Definitely going to let you get back to celebrating, and just looking forward to seeing what Lanier has in store for you next week.
Yeah, we'll see. We seem to be a little better on the bigger tracks, but we've gotten a little lucky at some short tracks, so we'll see.
Especially really, really flat short tracks.
Yeah.
But great run from you tonight. Best of luck next week, and potentially we'll get to chat with you again.
All right, man. Congrats on your win, and we look forward to seeing you here up in the booth for the weeks to come, man.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, guys. Just want to thank you guys for broadcasting, all our sponsors for the league, Cross Collision, 5 Star Realty, J&G Hardwood, Kelly's Custom Engraving for the awesome plaques that we get. I think Track Time Entertainment is back on board this season. I hope I'm not missing anybody at first podium of this year, so I'll get it eventually. DCD for my paint, all the guys that we race with week in and week out that make it a lot of fun. Everybody tuning in. And my team, NSRL After Dark.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations, and we'll let you get back to said team.
Thank you, guys.
User was moved out of your channel.
I like how it tells me when I move people in and out. Anyway, all right, on to second with Mr. Will Eastman.
User was moved to your channel.
All right, Will, questions for ya. If you're actually there.
I am here.
All right. So, first off, thank you for what has been one of the best finishes I've got to watch in a while. What was going through your head?
Well, I knew it was definitely good for this. I didn't want to wreck him. I'm looking for my first one in this series. These guys are just, all of them are really fast. And I want to get into them a little bit and move them up, but Dustin had such a run there. I kind of had to protect myself. So ended up with a good finish.
I mean, you were strong all night long. I mean, you finally got out there out front the whole entire time before that last pit stop. What was going through your head looking in the mirror and then basically seeing the hood? You couldn't see the front bumper because it was buried deep in your back bumper. So what was going through your head? It was probably about 20 to 30 laps there.
Yeah, well, the first set of green flag laps, I decided to kind of go to the back thinking there would be a lot of cautions, and I knew I couldn't do that anymore because I lost a bunch of track positions. So spent the next two runs getting back up to the front, and once we got the lead there, he's smooth, so he's not going to really – I wasn't worried about him turning me. He was pushing me down the straightaway, but I was comfortable. So just figured run a smooth line and not make a mistake, and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it was one of those things that as we reached the tail end of the race, we got some green flag stops, which, okay, they are the bane of my existence, but not everyone's. But what was going through your mind when you saw that yellow flag come at the very end?
Oh, I killed myself on that last green caution or green flag pit stop. I came in way too slow, got out too slow, and he had such a big lead. So that was the only chance I had when that caution came out. So I was pretty excited.
So you say you're looking for that first win. Are we thinking that Lanier is going to be that first opportunity come next week?
You never know. I feel like my finishes have not been as good as fast as I am, as fast as I've been for a couple of years. When I first got into this, this is the first league I even made a pit stop in, so that was a problem for me for a while. It's still a little hesitant getting in, and that definitely messes me up. But hopefully we'll get a good run next week too.
As Adam will tell you, I'm not hesitant on my pit stops, but I'm still terrible at them.
Yeah, I figured it'd be better to lose just a little bit getting in rather than get caught speeding or make a mistake like that, because I've done that before too.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of finesse. I mean, if you're not used to, hitting that pit road speed, sometimes you give up too much ground because you're a little bit, too hesitant to not get that pit road speeding penalty. It's a fine balance of being pretty fast versus kind of slow. So, it's going to take some while. And like you said, it's those first league that you've done it. You did a great job. But it's something to work on for the rest of the season. But you come home second, man. It's a good spot. Just keep up this and get some consistency with that, and we'll figure out if you're there near the end of the season, man.
Yeah, I definitely hope to get that first win and just run in the top 5 every week. And I know I'm fast enough for that, so hopefully we'll get some momentum coming here.
All right. Best of luck to you next week. We'll see what the tiny flat oval has in store for you. But great run tonight. Don't let anybody take that away from you, because you led laps and created a lot of entertainment for everybody out there in the internet.
Yeah, you led laps and was very strong tonight, man. We look forward to seeing what you have to offer the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, sir. I feel terrible.
User was moved out of your channel.
Wrong team. But all right. Onward to third place, and
User
for
was
the
moved to your
second
channel.
week in a row, Mr. Dante Curtis, how are you feeling tonight?
Feeling good, guys. How's it going?
Oh, none too bad. Last week we got to sit and watch you sit there and battle for the lead the entire night, and then tonight, out of nowhere, suddenly you're in third.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it went. Immediately from the drop of the green flag tonight, went backwards. Just really track position really didn't work out in my favor, and just struggled all night, just in traffic, getting stuck on the top, having to check up for other people. And luckily there towards the end, I guess after strategy all cycled out, and after that big wreck, we kind of found ourselves up there in the top 5 almost, and then just kind of that long run there towards the end there, those top 3 guys kind of pulled away from me, and I couldn't really, after I lost the draft, nothing really could do with them.
Well, and that was the one thing that I did get to notice, and I wanted to get your opinion on. It seemed like in certain situations, the top line was brilliant for people, and yet some people, it was just the kiss of death.
Yeah, it's really tight. Obviously, the fastest way around is down there right on the bottom, but if you can pinch somebody down there and you're brave enough, you can kind of hold them down there. I didn't really want to race that hard on the top side and risk getting wadded up, but for some people, they could run the top. They've got laps around here. I bought this track today, or yesterday, so I was kind of really trying to figure everything out.
So, unfortunately, your first Rockingham experience in iRacing was a street stock, so don't ever go to any other car, please. Just don't.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of races at this place. It gets pretty crazy. That's really why I didn't want to. I had no interest in running it until I had to.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that, when it comes up on any schedule I have, I'm never looking forward to it. I don't have much success here. The bounces in turn 1 and 2 aren't my best. I love turns 3 and 4. If 3 and 4 were very similar to 1 and 2, that'd be a great track. Even with the bumps on turns 3 and 4, just the way the 1 and 2 is, just doesn't go with my racing. But it looked like you were able to figure it out though near the end. Kind of got lucky. The 89 kind of got loose there. You're able to slip by him during that. I think coming out of turn 2, you're able to get by him and come home third. You're out there putting in the work, and it shows throughout your stats. We called you out during the practice, during the qualifying. Your wonderful stats of your winning streaks and what you've been doing in these street stocks.
Yeah, it's a fun car. Running, especially in this league, I don't really have much more fun on iRacing other than this, but definitely a rough night for us. Thankfully, we got up there to the top 3. That last restart, I'd really kind of just before that, I was assuming I was just going to finish 4th, and then there with Dustin and Jordan, I was really just thinking I was going to finish 4th. But I hate that Dustin kind of got a little sideways there and lost a couple spots, but don't mind to benefit from it, So
yeah, because
I do.
You sometimes benefit from it, and sometimes you're that person getting screwed by it. So it's a double-edged sword.
Definitely thought I was going to be part of one of them big ones tonight. Definitely got to apologize to my teammate Brandon Klasinski. Just tough deal with him there, going through that big one on the backstretch. I had to swerve to miss 23 and took him out in the process. So that was just probably the low light of the night.
Well, you get to take a little bit of solace in the third place, and sometimes teammates understand.
Yeah, we're all about helping each other out here on this team, and really that's the last thing we want to do. But I just got to thank all the guys back there at DCD Racing, Devin, Phil, Brandon, Dustin, DJ. He can't be here with us just yet. He's got some things on Monday nights, but just got to thank him, and just everybody that it's on the car here, Circuit World. My dad's always watching on Monday nights. American Racer South, Dante Curtis Designs, just a whole bunch of guys that have helped me get here, and just got to thank them.
All right, another great run from you. A great start to the season. Looking forward to seeing what you have for the short flat track of Lanier.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get. It's going to be a good feeling getting back to one of these tracks where you can't really just hold it wide open, and kind of the cream rises to the top. So hopefully we rise to the top there.
It's easily. I will honestly say it is my favorite track in the street stocks to run. So I'm very much looking forward to calling it.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Got a lot of laps there, so hopefully we can get back to getting gone and staying out front next week.
All right, great run. Maybe we'll catch you next week, but enjoy the week, and we'll potentially talk to you next Monday.
Yep, hope to see you guys next Monday. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, not a problem, sir.
User left your channel.
And did you move him?
Nope, he left.
Oh, that makes life easier. All right, that's going to do it from us here at Ghostfire Media. Just want to thank Cross Collision Embodied, J&G Hardwood Flooring, 5-Star Realty Group, Kelly's Custom Engraving, and, oh good lord, God, I can never read anything because Track Time Entertainment, Nelms Racing, RC2 Race Promotions, the sponsors for the North-South Racing League that make it to where we can bring this for you every Monday night and have a great time racing with the guys in this league. So thank you very much. That'll be it from us at Ghostfire Media. I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. Have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.